Right now, somewhere in your home, there is a drawer that bothers you. Maybe it's full of tangled cables and dead batteries and takeout menus from restaurants that closed years ago. You walk past it every day, and something in the back of your mind just tightens. And on a perfectly ordinary Tuesday, when nothing has gone right and everything feels slightly out of control, you will open that drawer and spend 45 minutes organizing it. You will feel calmer afterward. You won't know exactly why, but the real answer is far stranger than you think. This is not a quirk. This is not a personality trait. This is something ancient, firing inside your nervous system. Something that was built into your ancestors long before drawers existed, long before houses existed, long before the particular kind of stress you felt today had any name at all. Your brain does not actually care about the drawer. It never did. So what is it really doing? When stress hits the human brain, it does not respond the way you might expect. It does not calm itself through rest or distraction or deep breathing, at least not automatically. What it does first, instinctively, is scan the environment for anything it can control. Psychologists call this compensatory control. The idea is simple but profound. When your sense of control over one domain collapses, your brain immediately goes looking for another domain where it can impose order. Any domain will do. The stack of papers on your desk, the shoes by the door, the spice rack, the drawer. This is not weakness. This is engineering. Researcher Jennifer Whitson at the University of Texas ran a now famous series of experiments in the early 2000s. She and her colleague Adam Galinsky took groups of participants and made some of them feel a total loss of control by giving them random, meaningless feedback that had no connection to anything they actually did. Then they showed everyone a series of images and asked them what they saw. The people who had been made to feel out of control were dramatically more likely to see patterns in random noise, faces in static, shapes in scrambled dots. Their brains were so desperate to find order that they started inventing it. Think about that for a moment. Your brain would rather hallucinate a pattern than tolerate chaos. And if it will invent patterns in random visual noise, it will absolutely straighten your bookshelf. But this goes deeper than psychology experiments. This goes back to the savannah, to the cave, to the particular kind of creature your ancestors were, and the particular kind of world they were trying to survive. For most of human evolutionary history, disorder was dangerous. A cluttered campsite meant predators could hide closer. A messy food cache meant spoilage, infestation, waste. An unpredictable environment meant death, and not in the abstract way we sometimes use that word. Literally, your ancestors, who felt a strong compulsion to organize their immediate environment, to impose structure on the space around them, had a measurable survival advantage. They could find their tools. They could see the threat coming. They wasted less. They lived longer. The ones who felt nothing when chaos crept in? Evolution had opinions about them too. So when you feel that itch to straighten, to sort, to align, to clean, you are not being neurotic. You are running ancient survival code that worked for hundreds of thousands of years. The environment has changed. The code has not. Now here is where it gets genuinely strange. Research by Kathleen Vose at the University of Minnesota found that messy environments and tidy environments actually push the human brain in opposite directions, and not just emotionally. Tidy environments made participants more likely to follow rules, donate to charity, choose healthy food. Messy environments made participants more creative, more willing to break convention, more likely to generate novel ideas. The external order or disorder was being imported directly into the brain's operating mode. Your environment is not just the backdrop for your thinking, it is one of the inputs. Which means when your outside world is chaotic, your job, your relationship, your finances, your health, and your brain has no lever to pull there, it finds a lever it can pull. It reorganizes the physical space around you, and that reorganization genuinely changes how your brain feels, because the brain that was scanning for order has now found it. Signal received. Threat partially neutralized. You can breathe. This is why cleaning your room when you're anxious is not avoidance. Or rather, it is avoidance, but it is also genuinely therapeutic. Both things are true. There is a clinical term for the cognitive relief that comes from imposing order on your environment. It is sometimes called the completion response. When your brain sets a task and finishes it, dopamine is released. A small loop closes. And closing loops is something the human brain craves at a level far below conscious thought. The Russian psychologist Bluma Zygarnik discovered in the 1920s that the brain remembers incomplete tasks far more vividly and persistently than completed ones. It holds them open, like tabs in a browser, consuming memory and attention until they are resolved. Your cluttered desk is 100 open tabs. Organizing it closes them. Not the real stressors, those remain. But the open tabs the brain can see, the ones that exist in the physical space around you, get closed. And the brain, which cannot always tell the difference between the thing that is stressing you and the thing you just fixed, breathes out. This is why the effect is real, even when the logic seems absurd. Alphabetizing your bookshelf when you are terrified about a medical result. Color-coding your closet when a relationship is falling apart. Scrubbing the kitchen at midnight when the email you need to send tomorrow is sitting there unwritten. To a rational observer, this seems like pure displacement. But inside your nervous system, something real and measurable is happening. You are giving your brain a win. In a moment when wins are unavailable everywhere else. Now consider what this means about the kind of creature you actually are. You are not a rational agent who occasionally gets distracted by irrelevant organizing behaviors. You are a control-seeking organism whose entire nervous system is calibrated to detect disorder, feel discomfort at disorder, and take action against disorder. Reason came later. The compulsion came first. And the compulsion is still running underneath everything all the time, shaping your behavior in ways you attribute to personality but are really much older than personality. Some people express this more than others. Researchers have found that individuals with higher baseline anxiety tend to show stronger compensatory control behaviors. They organize more, categorize more, seek more structure in their environments when stressed. But the mechanism is present in virtually everyone. It is not a disorder, it is a dial, and stress turns it up. This also explains something you may have noticed about other people. When someone is going through something genuinely terrible, a loss, a crisis, a collapse of some kind, they will sometimes do things that seem bizarrely mundane. They reorganize the garage, they repaint a room. They suddenly become obsessed with a home improvement project. People around them sometimes interpret this as denial, or coldness, or strange priorities. But what is actually happening is that the brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. It is finding a corner of the world it can still shape. It is building a small island of order in the middle of the flood. That is not denial. That is survival. And here is the part that changes how you see yourself. The next time you find yourself inexplicably rearranging something, your desk, your kitchen, your files, your thoughts, you are not procrastinating. You are not being irrational. You are not wasting time. You are doing something your ancestors did in the dark, around a fire, with the tools and food and skins they needed to survive another night. You are imposing a shape on the world. You are saying, this part at least is mine. This part at least I understand. The drawer still bothers you. The cables are still tangled. And somewhere in your nervous system, an ancient signal is already deciding that tonight, you are going to do something about it. Not because it solves the real problem, but because your brain was built to believe that order, in any form, is a step towards safety. And after hundreds of thousands of years, it is very hard to argue with that.